Displaying a life-size replica of a horse makes a galloping statement at a farm, a racetrack, or a Western-themed venue. Some horse owners even commission a replica in the likeness of their favorite animal. A life-size fiberglass horse can be an attraction. But before this replica, there was an artist's sculpture in either wood, plaster, or styrofoam. The sculpture served as the model to produce this three-part mold to cast one or more replicas. They apply a release agent so the casting won't stick to the mold. Then they partially brush on and partially spray a 0.4 millimeter thick layer of gel coat. Gel coat is an easy-to-repair resin-based material that produces a smooth, shiny finish on fiberglass. 3 hours later, the gel coat is dry. Next, they apply 2 layers of resin-saturated fiberglass fabric in the hard-to-access area of the mold. Then they roll the fiberglass flat against the mold to prevent air bubbles, which would cause defects. With a tool called a chopper gun, they shoot shredded fiberglass mixed with resin over all the other gel-coated areas of the mold. They roll out the air bubbles and pack down the fiberglass to a consistent thickness of 3 millimeters. This ensures the hollow horse will be strong enough to withstand up to 400 pounds of people sitting on it. The resin-filled fiberglass cures within approximately 2 hours. Then they drive in wooden wedges to pry the casting from the mold, just enough to grab hold of the edge and pull. Thanks to the release agent they applied earlier, extraction is effortless and causes no damage to the casting or mold. Nonetheless, they carefully inspect the surface to be sure it's free of defects. Next, they pass a grinder along the perimeter to trim off all the excess fiberglass and smooth the edge. Each part of the mold produces half a horse, so the next step is to join the halves into a whole. The attachment must be hidden on the inside so it doesn't show. They first temporarily attach the halves on the outside with galvanized steel brackets and straps around the legs. Then they cut a large opening toward the front of the horse to be able to access the inside. They first fill the small space between the two halves with putty that auto body repair shops use on cars. Then they reinforce the joint with a double layer of resin-saturated fiberglass fabric. They cut a second opening toward the back of the horse to repeat the process on a different area. Then they close up the openings. They temporarily hold the cutouts in position with galvanized steel brackets and fill all around with putty. The putty and inside strips dry in an hour, at which point all the brackets can come off. Now they work on the outside, sealing the space between the parts with more putty. Once it dries, they flatten the seam with an electric sander. Then they remove marks left by the sander by manually using a very fine sandpaper. The seams are now flush with the rest of the surface. Once painted, they won't show at all. After cleaning the entire horse with acetone, they spray a coat of primer over the puttied seams. Then, with fine sandpaper, they prep the surface to receive automotive paint. The horse is ready to be painted. With delicate strokes of an airbrush, an artist gradually paints the animal to life. Before finishing her artwork, she'll apply 2 coats of transparent varnish. to protect the paint from precipitation and the fading effect of the sun's rays.